Georg Ludwig Detlef Theodor Harms was a German Lutheran pastor who was nicknamed the Reviver of the Heath, one of the most significant Christian revivalists of the 19th century. He turned the little village of Hermannsburg on the Lüneburg Heath into the most important center of revival in Lower Saxony. Life, youth and training. Louis Harms was born on 5 May 1808 in Walsrode in North Germany as the second son of a pastor, Hartwig Christian Harms. His mother was Lucy Dorothy Friedrich Harms, and Acute. In 1817 the family moved to Hermannsburg and, in 1825, Louis Harms went to the secondary school in Celle. After passing his A-levels in Celle, Harms studied Protestant theology in Göttingen from 1827 to 1830. His study forced him to confront the Enlightenment, the leading intellectual movement of his time. When he read the verse John chapter 17 verse 3, "Now this is eternal life, that they might know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent," he came in 1830 to the conclusion that it is not enough just to be religious and good, to live sensibly and act properly, but that it is essential to have Jesus Christ at the center of one's life and to testify to that. Career development. After passing his exam with honors, Louis Harms worked from 1830 to 1840 as a private tutor for the Lord Chamberlain of Linstow in Lauenburg, Elbe. During this time he held Bible studies and, in 1834, founded the Lauenburg Mission Society. After Harms had passed 2 other theological examinations, but still had no prospect of becoming a pastor, he helped his father in Hermannsburg. Then he returned to being a private tutor in 1840 for the family of state architect Pampel in Lüneburg. In Lauenburg and Lüneburg he came across slums, moral neglect and children whose lives were a misery. As a result, visits to the poor, the sick and prisoners became a natural consequence of his faith, an approach that was by no means common at the time. To support his sick father, at the end of 1843, he returned to Hermannsburg. Harms was appointed as curate to relieve his father and was ordained to the ministry on the 20th of November 1844. In 1846, he managed to turn the parish of Hermannsburg from a benevolent society of the Celle Missionary Society into a mission parish. Through his church services, parlor gatherings in the rectory, home visits and counseling, a revival started in Hermannsburg. At the request of the municipality, Louis Harms was appointed by the consistory in Hanover for the Evangelical Lutheran State Church of Hanover as the pastor at Hermannsburg after the death of his father in 1849. Harms had a great gift for speaking in a way that brought things to life. On Sunday evenings, the villagers gathered in the hallway of the rectory to listen to him. His stories simultaneously entertained, instructed and built people up. Local history provided him with lively material. His stories were published in the anthologies Honig and Goldene Apfel in Silben and Schalen. Since 1846, at Epiphany on the 6th of January, at irregular intervals, and once a year since 1851, on St. John's Eve, the Mission Festival is held, to which up to 6,000 came. Amongst its best-known visitors were the Hamburg merchant Johann Hinrich Nagel and Elisa Verdiek, who later founded the Bethesda Deaconess House in Hamburg. Even today, the Mission Festival is celebrated on a weekend around the 24th of June in the park of the Mission Seminary, Hermannsburg. On the 12th of October 1849, Harms founded the Hermannsburg Mission Center by opening the Mission Seminary. His brother Theodor was invited to be its first head or inspector. The first 12 seminary students studied in what is today the Ludwig Harms House. In 18 1853, the first seminary course passed the theological examination before the consistory stayed and were ordained to the ministry. The first 16 missionaries were sent by Louis Harms into mission service and left on the 28th of October 1853 on the mission ship Candace. The Candace, which had been launched on the 27th of September 1853 in Harburg, was financed by donations from friends of the mission, especially those to whom Harms had preached. The Hamburg businessman, Nagel, in particular, stands out. Until its sale in 1874, the ship went on 13 journeys. The original pennant of the ship is now on display in the Louis Harms house in Hermannsburg. Louis Harms led the work overseas as mission director from the rectory. Harms mastered many languages. In addition to his native language of German, he learned Latin, Greek, Hebrew, Italian, English and French. After the attempt to get to Ethiopia had failed, the missionaries landed in Port Natal in 1854 and began missionary work among the Zulus. In the same year, the Hermannsburger Missionsblatt newsletter appeared for first time, a publication that still informs interested parties about the work of the mission. To support the mission work in 1856 also founded a mission trading shop. Harms also took care of youth offenders after they were released. From 1858 he obtained accommodation and work for them. In 1862 the mission seminary moved to the new mission house where it is today and where young people are trained for missionary service. During the lifetime of Louis Harms, mission work started in India in 1864. Physically very weakened, Louis Harms died on the 14th of November 1865 in Hermannsburg, after having given his last sermon on the 5th of November in Hermannsburg's St. Peter and St. Paul's Church. He was buried in Hermannsburg Cemetery. His grave is still there today. Hermannsburg Mission today. The work of the Hermannsburg Mission is carried on today by the Evangelical Lutheran Mission in Lower Saxony, which has been jointly run by the 3 Lower Saxon state churches of Hanover, Brunswick and Schaumburg-Lippe since 1977. Publications: Evangelien Predigten, Verlag der Lutherischen Buchhandlung Groß-Siesingen 1992. Epistel Predigten, Verlag der Lutherischen Buchhandlung Groß-Siesingen 1995. In Treue Liebe und Verbot gesammelte Brief 1830–1865. Bearbeitet von Hartwig F. Harms und Jobstriller. Quellen und Betragsgeschichte der Hermannsburger Mission BD. 12 Lit Verlag 2004.